Hey guys, what's up? I got Nathan down here today and he brought in a really cool old Tele. So let's take a look at this thing. All right, Nathan, let's take a look and see what you got today.
So we got here a 74 Tele Custom.
1974.
Got the bullet truss rod up there. Of course, this thing's got the 3-bolt neck plate on it.
Let's set it up on top of the case here.
So I'll give you a little bit of history on these.
Okay.
In 1959, Fender came out with the Custom Telecaster, which all a Custom Telecaster was it was a standard Tele with a sunburst finish on it. And back then in the 50s, a sunburst finish was considered a custom color for Telecasters.
Right.
Right. Back then the Teles would come in the blonde or the the butterscotch color. But
right.
If you wanted a sunburst one, is a custom color. So the Custom Teles was a standard Tele in sunburst, and it had double binding. It had binding along the top and the back of the body, right? So then we're going to fast forward about 13 years, and the Telecaster Custom comes out. 1972 to 1981, all of them had a 3-bolt neck plate on them. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times you'll hear about that.
Flip it around. Let's take a look at that neck plate.
A lot of the times you'll hear about that 3-bolt neck plate on the 70s guitars.
Uh-huh.
You can see right there, Fender branded. It's got the micro tilt adjustment. This one's a string through body, just like a standard Tele would be. Uh-huh. So these have the polyurethane finish on them. It picks up your fingerprints really well, so excuse the fingerprints on it. I cleaned it this morning. It's already all fingerprints.
Oh man, that's all right.
But you could see it the finish kind of reacts with something that was in the case. So you see there's a little bit of texture right there, but it's a 45-year-old guitar. It is what it is, it's not a mint one. But back to the 3-bolt necks. This one has a nice tight neck pocket. The neck fits really well in the pocket, so it doesn't really move around or have any tuning issues like you have on some of the 70s Fenders. And then up here on the headstock, we have the Fender branded 6-in-a-line tuners, and those are holding up just fine. They look cool with all the little F stamped into them.
Those do look cool. And
super glossy neck on the back. Pretty sure that's poly also. But if we flip it over, you can see that it does definitely start to wear through that finish on the neck. There's some spots in there where they're more of a satin finish now, just because it's been played, and that headstock color is just aged to that perfect like amber color right there. That's one of my favorite parts. Of course, you got that big old bullet truss rod right there too.
Yeah. How's the frets? Has it been refretted or anything?
It hasn't, and the frets are low.
Uh-huh.
But they don't buzz, and I could play it just fine. But I have a feeling if I play this for the next couple years, maybe a year or 2 years, it'll need a refret eventually. But it is what it is, a guitar gets played that much, it's going to need some frets eventually.
Tell us about the pickup in this thing. What's the story on this guy?
Okay, so in 1967, a guy named Seth Lover, I'm sure you guys have heard of him, started working at Fender. He designed a lot of the humbucker pickups for Gibson for the 50s and 60s. And, obviously Gibsons, most of them all had humbuckers in them. Les Pauls, 335s, some P90s in the guitars. But
right.
Anyways, this was basically Fender's shot at the rock and roll era. Everyone wanted to play humbuckers through distorted amps in the late 60s and 70s. Kind of moving away from that super clean sound. But anyways, Seth Lover starts in 1967. Fender hires him to design a humbucker pickup for him. And
is this is a wide range pickup?
It is.
So it's not a humbucker, is it?
It is a wide range humbucker.
Okay.
But the thing is Seth Lover said, I don't want to make a humbucker that sounds just like a Gibson humbucker. I want it to sound a little brighter. In his words, a little more brilliance to keep that Fender tone. So the Gibson humbuckers are Alnico humbuckers, right?
Okay.
This one is a copper nickel iron. I don't know how to say the short name for it. QNIF or however you say it.
Okay.
Copper nickel iron. Wow. And he finished designing this pickup in 1970.
Wow.
So there was a series of Telecasters called the Tele Thin Lines. You know, where they have the F-hole right there, semi-hollow.
Right.
They have the big pickguard on them. 2 single coil pickups like a standard Tele.
Right.
In 1971, Fender comes out with the Tele Thin Line Series 2. So it has the same F-hole. It doesn't have the ashtray bridge, though. It has 2 Seth Lover designed wide-range humbuckers in it. In 1972, they come out with the Tele Custom. The Tele Custom has a volume for each pickup, a tone for each pickup, and they decided...
Very much like a Gibson would have.
Exactly. They decided, you know what, let's keep that Tele bridge pickup a single coil, because that's what Teles are known for.
Good decision.
They're super spanky, twangy, bridge pickup, right? Super bright. And then let's throw a Seth Lover design humbucker, wide range humbucker in the neck. And that was actually a common mod that a lot of people would do to their old Teles, was they would throw a humbucker in the neck.
Right.
You'd never see someone throwing a humbucker in the bridge.
Keith Richards did that, didn't he?
Keith Richards does have a Blackguard Tele with the humbucker in the neck. Joe Bonamassa, one of his main guitars, a Blackguard Tele with the humbucker in the neck. It's funny you mentioned Keith Richards, because Keith Richards is one of the most known players for playing a Tele Custom just like this.
Nice.
And he played a black one. And I just read that he only liked the black ones, and I'll tell you why. These were offered in natural, blonde, black, and I'm pretty sure mocha also. Mocha was like a nice brown color. And all the other ones, you could see the grain through the finish. So since you could see the grain through the finish, Fender used ash, which was a super grainy, nice looking wood, right?
Right.
Looks really nice, but you hear about this all the time. The 70s Fenders, Strats, and Teles, super heavy guitars because they use those big solid ash bodies, right?
Okay.
Well, the black, you can't see the grain through it, so they use alder.
Okay.
So this guitar is not that heavy. This guitar,
what do you think it weighs in at?
This is a light guitar. I've played regular Teles, like those Japanese Teles, the blue flower one that we got down here in the shop.
Yeah.
And those are heavier than this. I've played Strats that are heavier than this, you know, and I would guess maybe around the 7 pounds less.
Wow.
It's a light guitar. This thing is super light guitar. When I picked it up, I was surprised. I was like, that's a light one right there. And so anyways, we're in 1972. They come out with the Tele Custom. A year later, they come out with the Tele Deluxe. The Tele Deluxe is kind of the next step up. It's going to have the Strat headstock, but it's still going to say Telecaster Deluxe on it. But it has a Stratocaster shaped headstock. And then it's going to have 2 of the wide range humbuckers with the hardtail bridge on it. And the other thing is that the Tele Deluxes, they have the body cut out like a Strat. It's contoured like a Strat. This one, good old slab Tele. Just a slab body. No cutouts, no nonsense, right? These have the big pickguard on them. 3-way toggle switch like a Gibson. And what's special about these guitars is in the neck, you have that really nice, warm, thick, full range humbucker sound. We'll do some demos later. You'll be able to hear it. In the middle is where it really shines, because you have this humbucker in the neck, and then you have this bright Tele single coil pickup in the bridge. So you can use your individual volumes, and kind of, if you want a little bit brighter sound, you just roll off the volume of the neck pickup a little bit. If you want a little bit warmer sound, you could roll off the volume of the bridge pickup a little bit. And then of course you can mess around with your tones too. There's just so many sounds you can get out of these, and they're so cool. So then we have our typical ashtray bridge, but we have the individual saddles. And the reason they did that was that you could get a little bit better intonation.
Yeah, perfect intonation.
And they pretty sure these are stainless, where before they were, I think they were using the brass for the 3 saddle Teles. But I have no complaints about this thing. And like I said, this guitar stays in tune really well. You have 2 string trees up here. Not sure if that helps at all, because I've played some that only have 1 string tree that stay in tune fine. But overall, just a really killer guitar. You know, if you want, you know, a lot of people complain about the 3-bolt neck plate, but if you want a Tele Custom, it's going to have a 3-bolt neck plate because that's all they made them with.
Super cool, man. Well, let's plug this thing in and let's hear you play it for a while.
Cool.
All right, so Nathan, you got yourself a vintage Telecaster here.
1974.
What was the price of these things brand new?
So in January of 1973, this guitar would sell for $315 new.
Damn.
It's going to cost you a lot more than that today if you want one of these, but
Yeah.
it was only $30 more than a standard Tele. So if you wanted this wide range humbucker,
$30.
it's going to cost you an extra $30. Which is
Well
funny
worth it,
because
huh?
today we think $30.
Yeah,
That's
lunch.
like going out to lunch, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you think $30 back then, but
That was
that's
like
a lot.
that was like paying your rent or something.
That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's worth it to have this cool Seth Lover design humbucker. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the
All right,
bridge.
let's hear you play this thing.
I'm gonna start on the bridge pickup. It's kind of like your standard Tele. You're gonna go over to the neck. Now we're in the middle. I think it really shines in that middle position. You know, you get the warmth of this humbucker, and you get the nice bright tones out of that single coil in the bridge. Overall, man, really cool guitar.
Nathan, thank you so much for bringing that in and showing us.
No problem. Thanks for checking it out. It's a cool one.
Yeah, it is.
Down here at ZIMM'S Guitars, Mesa, Arizona.